scales are rusted, they tip and they sway. The sword's been dulled, it's been locked away. The blindfold slips, revealing the game. Lady Justice, tell me, who do we blame? This isn't balance, this isn't right. Who stole the stars from the flag tonight? Lady Justice, where are you now? We're screaming loud, but you don't hear a sound. This isn't the America I knew. Lady Justice, where are you? The gavel falls, but it don't make a dent. The halls of power feel broken and bent. Promises whispered and swept with the breeze. Truth gets tangled in the webs of greed. Blindfold torn and the swords in the dirt. The scales can't hold the weight of the herd. Oh, tell me, where did you go, Lady Justice? We need you so. Lady Justice, where are you now? We're screaming loud, but you don't hear a sound. This isn't the America I knew. Lady Justice, where are you? Lady Justice, where are you now? We're screaming loud, but you don't hear a sound. This isn't the America I knew. Lady Justice, where are you? Lady Justice, where are you now? We're screaming loud, but you don't hear a sound. This isn't the America I knew. Lady Justice, where are you?
Hi, everyone. How's it going? Hope all is well. So tonight I had planned MRC and I to talk about the photographer. However, he cannot make it tonight. So I am well prepared to talk about it. And it's funny, him and I were talking on the phone a couple days ago. And we're just talking through the whole McCain scenario. And I said something that caught his attention. And because sometimes I talk pretty quickly, right? So I'm just blabbing, but trying to catch him up because he really doesn't read all the various transcripts and all that. So I'm just trying to give him a very high level recap of what has transpired within the last couple weeks. And so anyway, I had mentioned something, and he, like I said, he was like, wait, stop. And, it took me a couple times because I just kept on going. Anyway, so caught his attention. So I want to talk about that in a little bit. But I thought it would be a good exercise just to go back to just go over the transcripts again and go back to the car situation, the parking, right? Because hi Fish, how's it going? Thank you. Yeah, I'm like still dressed up from work. It's been a busy day today. Hey Delulu. Is that a Muppet? Which Muppet is that? Do you know the Muppets that scared me was those two old mans that were on the balcony? And they had the microphones. Used to scare the hell out of me when I was a kid. I don't know why. They were just maybe creepy old men. Anyway, so yeah, I want to go over this with a new set of eyes. I'm trying to think, how about I will let the chat dictate how we're going to do this. So I have the transcripts pulled up. I have Betsy Blair's report, incident report. Have that pulled up. I have the PCA pulled up. So where do you want to start? Fish, calm down. All right, so if you want me to start with right at Betsy Blair's incident, put a 1. If you want to go over the PCA first, put a 2 in the chat. If you want to go over McCain's deposition, or actually testimony from trial transcripts, put a 3. Oh my gosh, I should have wrote that down. I have the worst short-term memory ever. I think 2, right? That was the okay, the PCA. All right, let's pull that up. Okay, so this is the affidavit for the search warrant. It's pretty much the same thing. All right. I think I need to make it bigger. Oh, all right. Can y'all see it? Let me switch back. Nope, you don't want to see that, do you? Okay, here we go. You see it okay? All right, awesome. All right. So this is the affidavit for search warrant, and this is Tony Liggett, right? And then we're going to go into that in a little bit because Tony Liggett talks to Betsy Blair again. All right. So it says Carroll County Sheriff's Department Detective Tony Liggett swears or affirms that he believes and has good cause to believe that evidence relating to the crime of murder in violation of IC 354211 is located at Richard Allen's residence. I'm going to try to paraphrase and read word for word parts that I found that is interesting. Okay, so he gives the address. Detective Liggett believes that evidence in the form of handguns, 40 caliber ammunition, knives, blue sweatshirt jackets, black sweatshirts, jackets, clothing, electronic devices, and a cell phone. And he lists Richard Allen's cell phone, and any other cell phones used by Richard M. Allen will be located on the property. Okay. And then that on Monday, February 13th, 2017, at approximately 1:50 p.m., Abigail Williams and Liberty German were dropped off by a family member at the Monon High Bridge Trail off of County Road 300 North. On Tuesday, February 14th, 2017, at approximately 12:17 p.m. That's pretty exact, isn't it? All right, anyway, sorry. The girls were found deceased. Their bodies were located in the woods northeast of the Monon High Bridge. Autopsies of the girls ruled their deaths as homicides, and their wounds were caused by a sharp object. Investigators located Liberty German's iPhone 6S under her body. Wow. At the scene, and were able to recover a video, approximately 43 seconds in length, captured at 2:13 p.m. on February 13th, 2017. The video depicts Abigail walking on the Monon High Bridge towards Liberty, while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. Near the end of the video, the man is heard in the video telling the girls down the hill. Through further investigation of the location of the bodies, investigators also located a .40 caliber unspent round. They also determined that articles of clothing from the girls were missing from the scene, including a pair of underwear and a sock. A pair of underwear? Okay. Through the investigation, that were interviews done with 3 of the 4 girls that were on the trails that day. So I'm going to pause right here. I'm still questioning this Isabel Voorhees scenario. I actually, when I was looking again into this, I think I was probably actually researching something else. I came across the age on another document of what Isabel, was it Isabel? I think it is. Or Elizabeth. It's one of the, I'm sorry. Voorhees, and she was 13. So I know that there's been a lot of talk, oh, she was really young at the time. I mean, she was pretty much the same age as Anna Spath. So anyway, I just want to point that out. All right. The girls observed a male on the trails on February 13th, 2017, that matched the description, I think you meant of the male, in the video recorded by Liberty German. The 3 girls identified as Riley, I got to keep on Riley. Voorhees, Brianna Wilbur, and Anna Spath encountered this male near a bench east of the Freedom Bridge. I'm really trying to stay on topic here because that's a whole nother situation that I came across this bench. But anyway, the girls were on the trail and were walking towards Freedom Bridge to go home. The male they encountered was walking from the Freedom Bridge towards the Monon High Bridge. One of the 3 girls, identified as Anna Spath, described the male as an older man walking on the trails as they were leaving, and she described him as kind of creepy. Well, he kind of described them as creepy as well. I'm just saying. I don't know what's up with that. Okay, I'm going to keep on going. In a text from Anna to Kyla Brummett, Anne described the man as wearing like blue jeans, a like really light blue jacket. His hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and he did not really show his face. So I guess that's a quote of what exactly she said. Investigator Steve Mullen and Brent Ingram interviewed Anna, and she described the male as wearing a blue jacket and light blue faded blue jeans. Okay. The jacket was a canvas duck type jacket. Riley Voorhees was also in the group of 4 girls. And she said hi to the man, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. So there's another sketch with him covering his mouth. Okay, anyway, Riley recalled telling her sister that someone was in a grumpy mood. She went on to describe him as not very tall and bigger build. She said that he was not bigger than 5'10". Riley went on to say in an interview that he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. She said that he had his hands in his pockets. Okay, we're going to get to the one part that I really want to focus on. An interview was conducted in 2020 of Bree Wilbur, commentary right around the time Anthony Schatz was on the radar. But anyway, she was able to show investigators a picture that she took on her phone on the Monon High Bridge with a timestamp of 12:43 Eastern Standard Time. Bree showed investigators another picture she took at the bench just east of the Freedom Bridge. Not really. When they were leaving at 1:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bree stated that she took the picture at the bench. They started walking back towards the Freedom Bridge. Bree stated that when they walked past the man who matched the description of the individual in the picture. Detective Liggett believes the picture that she is referring to is the picture law enforcement release of the man on the bridge taken from the video Liberty captured on her cell phone on the day of the murders. Bree described the man as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. Kind of sounds like confirmation bias. But anyway, where was it? I need to stop doing that. Okay. She stated the jacket had a collar and had his hood up from the clothing underneath the jacket. Bree advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She stated her head came up to approximately his shoulder. Bree told us Riley said hi, hearsay, to the man, and he said nothing back. Bree described the man as walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. Bree also stated the man had his hands in his pockets and kept his head down. She didn't get a good look at his face, but believed he was a white male. I think that's the only thing a lot of people can agree on, that he's a white male. I don't know. As the girls left, they crossed the Freedom Bridge and the railroad bridge over old SR 25. So this is the bridge that would be west, right? Yeah, west of 25. Anyway. Okay. An individual by the name of Betsy Blair. Okay, this is the important part. An individual by the name of Betsy Blair was returning to the trails to finish her walk. So this is around 2:45. Okay, so because she said she got to the trails at 1:45 and she left a quarter after, right? Betsy Blair is seen on the Hoosier Harvest on 300 North, traveling eastbound to the trailhead to park at 13:46:20 actual time. Did I say 2:45? I really mean 1:45 if I said that. Sorry about that. Blair saw the girls walking above as she went under the railroad bridge. On September 21st, 2022, Detective Liggett was provided a tip narrative from Orion, DIN, 7401 to review. It was from DNR Lieutenant Dan Doolin. The narrative was as follows. Mr. Allen was on the trail between 13:30 and 15:30. Okay, so I want to stop here real quick. So when he called, walked in, emailed, whatever this tip narrative says, it's not really clear. But anyway, he didn't say, he says, if I'm paraphrasing here, but it didn't say for sure he was at the trail between any time. It was approximately, I might have been here at such and such time. But anyway, he parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the Freedom Bridge. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw 3 females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He told Kathy Allen black hair, by the way. He did not remember description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. He stated that there were vehicle parked at the High Bridge trailhead, however, did not pay attention to them. Okay. So Richard Allen said he's seen multiple vehicles parked at the trailhead. Okay. And like there are several trailheads. So just keep that in mind. Right. To me, the trailhead is by the Freedom Bridge, but I've heard the Mears lot at trial being referred to on many occasions as a trailhead. Okay. He did not take any photos or video. His cell phone did not list an IMEI, but did have the following. And then it lists the MEID and the MEID hex. Potential follow-up. Who were the three girls walking in the area of the Freedom Bridge? So through the statement of Mr. Allen, he admits that on February 13, 2017, he parked his vehicle at the Old Farm Bureau building from 1330 to 1530 and was on the trails at that time. There is no Old Farm Bureau building. Yeah, like I have no idea where this came from. Anyway. Preaching to the choir, probably. All right, anywhere close to the trails or bridge. Detective Liggett believes he is referring to the old Child Protective Services building. Just like a legal question, I'm just curious, like, can you give impressions in the, the PCA, like what you think somebody's saying? Anyway, in 2017, Richard Allen owned a 2016 black Ford Focus and a 2006 gray Ford 500. Upon reviewing of video collected from the Hoosier Harvest store, I don't know, on February 13, 2017, investigators were able to locate a vehicle that appears to match Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the video at 13:27 hours actual time. This coincides with Allen saying he was at the trails from around 13:30. Okay, so I'm just going to read this one more time real briefly. Upon review of video collected from the Hoosier Harvest store on February 13th, 2017, investigators were able to locate a vehicle that appears to match Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the video at 13:27 hours actual time. This coincides with Allen saying he was at the trails at 13:30. I'm going to check in with the chat. If there's anyone still in here. Oh, story time. Okay. All right. The Lulu says, well, I may have something important to contribute. I think, wasn't Bree pretty tall? Like, I know one of the girls was like 5'10", I think, or 5'9". I could be totally wrong. This just stands out to me. Oh, you did? Did you put any beet juice in it? Okay. All right. So, all right, I'm going to pull up now. I'm going to do a new share here. Oh, I'm all big. Woo. All right. I think it's this one. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. Okay. So Shibby and I, late, I think it was Friday or Saturday night. I don't know. It was all running in together. We were going over this. So he did a live stream on this too, and we're just dissecting it a little bit. So what I noticed on this that stood out to me, and he provided some great insight too, is we have here this incident report of Betsy Blair and I'll go into that in a minute, is March 7th, 2019. Okay. In Liggett's deposition, he does state he goes back and talks to Betsy Blair because they were working on the timeline again. And I guess she was there around 11:30. And it says occurred from February 13, 2017 to February 13, 2017, right? So just keep that in mind. And then he goes and he does the narrative almost a month later. I just love their urgency in this double homicide. But anyway, at 12:49, and the narrative is by Tony Liggett. All right, and we don't have the first page here, unfortunately. So, it starts out by saying first time but didn't. All right. And then it says Betsy said that she had been shown the video from the Hoosier Harvest store by someone from ISP. She said that is what hard to see the vehicles on the video. I'm sorry. She said that it was hard to see the vehicles on the video. She thought it might help her looking at the still pictures that could be zoomed in on. Isn't that interesting? Right? Because no one was shown the video. So are all these images zoomed in? Okay. Betsy looked at the pictures and picked a vehicle that we have identified belonging to, drum roll, David McCain. Betsy said that was the closest similar in style with the angles she was remembering. Again, Betsy looked at the pictures and picked a vehicle that we have identified belonging to David McCain. Betsy said that was the closest similar in style with the angles she was remembering. I asked Betsy what a lap was to her. Betsy said that she would start at the trailhead and walk to the main trail hub. So here we go. So this is what I'm saying about the trailhead, right? So she's referring to the Mears lot as a trailhead, right? I mean, it technically is, but there's multiple trailheads. So I think that's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just slow, but the trailhead does cause some confusions. Like, what can we be a little bit more specific? But anyway, all right. So Betsy said she would start at the trailhead and walk to the main trail hub, walk to Monon High Bridge, back to down Niche's trail. So that's the 505. Back to hub, then to Freedom Bridge. So hub during trial was referred as connector trail. All right. So that's like, let's say you're going from the Mears and you're walking, right? And then you get to this connector trail. And that's like, I think there's a lot of photos of the sign that, is pointing in different directions. So if you go left, that is the Monon High Bridge. If you kind of go a little bit to the right and down, that's the 505, also the Niche's trail. And if you go right, you're going towards the Freedom Bridge. All right. Where was I? I asked Betsy about where she saw the 3 or 4 girls that didn't see her. What the hell? So she doesn't know if it was 3 or 4 either. Just saying. Betsy said that she saw them near the old railroad overpass, over the old SR25. They were walking towards Delphi. All right, so I'm going to go back about this big thing, and I know it's probably been talked about a lot through other creators. To me, this was a pretty big bombshell because, for several reasons. One, in 2019, remember we had the change of direction presser conference that happened. I think it was April 22nd, right? And that's when the young guy sketch was released, which was the first sketch, but it was released as it was the second sketch released, right? And during that time, if anyone remembers this is where Doug Carter goes on, at the podium, and he says they're looking for a vehicle parked at CPS between 12 and 5, a 5-hour window. So 2 years after these homicides, they still do not know what time and what vehicle. But Betsy pretty much did a lineup. Now, I can't confirm what vehicle what was shown. But if we go between the 12 and 5 timeline, and that's where, multiple investigators said that was their window, why wouldn't Richard Allen's car be part of this lineup? So essentially what they did was they zoomed in on the cars, took still picked photos, and they had her go through these just like you would as a lineup, right? Go through them and, hey, Betsy, can you please tell me which vehicle looks like the vehicle parked at the CPS? Now, keep in mind, when Betsy went, she left the trail that day to go to the library. And when she came back from the library, that's when she seen the vehicle. So this is why this 1:44, 1:45 time is so important. Remember? That was a big talking point. That's how they knew what time that car arrived. And Betsy Blair is saying that it looks like David McCain's. Well, she didn't say that in exact words. I bet you I don't think they told her which vehicle, what vehicle belonged to who. So in this scenario, I think a couple things will exist, right? One, which I believe is very possible, they did not know, and they were not able to identify what that vehicle was, because if they had identified the vehicle and it came back to a Ford Focus, they would have found Richard Allen. Because after the second go around, and I think this was Steve Mullen, genius Steve Mullen, he comes back and says, he's like, this is the only vehicle in the area. Right? So is this the Ford Focus? And she picked out David McCain's vehicle. Now, I'm going to do a share because I have the sketch up. Okay? Because let's look at this vehicle that she sketched out. Because I think that's very important. Because that was, I believe that sketch happened in 2017. Right? It does not look like a Ford Focus. Just saying. It nothing. All right. So okay. Now I don't, feet are gross. Bloody dirt. Well, maybe that's why they belong in dirt. All right, so I'm going to do a new share. All right. Oh, I knocked my, you heard it? Knock my desk. All right, so, all right, this is the sketch. And thank you, Ally, for uploading this on here. So this is the vehicle that she's seen at CPS, 4-door. So this is the front of the vehicle. Oh, my bad. No, I was wrong. This was in 4-2. So I walked that back. She did this 4-2. So when again was this? Okay, that's weird. So I'm going to go back to this report. This is really weird. I did not notice this until now. Holy shit. I need to do a new share. I should just share my tab. Yeah, I'm just going to do my tab. All right, I'm going to just do the entire screen. Okay. All right, yeah, it's weird, but it should move around. Okay. So we have here April 2nd, 2019. The sketch is done, right? She picked out, she did the still picture exercise on March 7th, 2019. Tony Liggett does this narrative April 1st, 2019. So after she already identified the vehicle, why would she need to do a sketch? She did a sketch April 2nd, 2019. After she already picked out the vehicle. I hope it's moving around as I go through these different tabs. You see that? That's crazy. Why would you need to do a sketch if you identified a vehicle? I mean, am I just like losing it here? I mean, probably. Probably. I hope I did it right. Oh yeah, I already read that. I don't know. Do you like cranberries? I can deal with cranberries, but not beets. Yeah, drawing. You're right. Drawing. She did a drawing on April 2nd after she did a drawing after she picked out a vehicle. The day after Liggett does his report. Why would she need to? I know I keep on saying the same thing here, but why would you need to do that? What did somebody come back and say, no, that's not the right vehicle? Maybe because it was David McCain's vehicle that just wasn't, suffice. No, it can't be David McCain. Yeah, but that was too zoomed in. Sorry. I mean, she picked out David McCain's vehicle. Why was that not good enough? Like, to me, I think that would be more solid, right? You can't say that you can't say that, oh well, the quality of the photo is not good. You know what I mean? You can't have it both ways. Like, to me, I don't know. Which one would you think is a little bit more reliable? The drawing that she did or picking out a photo or a still image of a vehicle zoomed in? And by the way, neither one of these look like a Ford Focus. My chair, I don't know what's wrong with it, but like eventually, if I don't put my feet on the ground, I'm going to end up looking. I do this all day. Like, I struggle with it. I just have to like keep on holding on to something. It must be like off balance or like one of my butt cheeks bigger than the other or something. I don't know. So that was interesting. So yeah, that was among the conversation I had with Mark. I was catching him up on this, and I don't want to speak for him, but it did bring on more conversation. And there's something that always stuck out to me as well is, I think I mentioned this several times, but who has, the most to gain and who was also there. And I'm not insinuating like he's bridge guy, because like to me, I've always believed there's more than one person involved. And I don't I do doubt like if it was a bunch of people, like to me, like the more people that is involved in something, the harder it is to keep a secret. But it was just too, in my opinion, just too clean in a way. I know that's a horrible way of saying it, but it was just, and I always found it interesting after reading the transcripts that I've covered that David McCain is saying he's on the bridge, right? Like around that time, because we know he was on the bridge in between Shelby Hicks, right? Like he was getting off the bridge during that time, and she arrives at 2:30. No one said that David McCain was on the bridge simultaneously as Shelby Hicks. She's seen him like exiting the bridge area. And then we have Shelby Duncan and Cheyenne on the bridge, for a long time, actually. So something's not right there. But anyway, he said he brought this camera, right? And the reason why he chose this camera was because he liked how the camera zoomed. And, it seemed like what a perfect decoy or, ruse or whatever you want to call it, to walking around like you're taking photos, right? And it could have been, and I'm just totally off. It's very possible, but I'm just saying, like, it's just really interesting. He's in all these different places, right? In this area, he's got a camera. We know that the FBI went and got the SD card from this camera. And apparently they think that he might have captured a vehicle in the background that they were interested in, because ISP came, or the Unified Command came back and asked him if he had the, pictures. And he said, no, I gave it over, I handed it over. And I think that was in 2019, around that time too. But anyway, he's on the bridge, he's taking photos, he's right around this time, 2:30, maybe 2:45. He testified, what was it? Like, I think it was like a broad number, 1 to 3 or something, and they got him down to 2 to 3 or something like that. I'm going to pull it up anyway and go through it. So anyway, when I first started looking into Mr. McCain, of course, like everyone, you looking, sleuthing, you're Googling, right? And what was very interesting, and now I'm going to get to the part that caught Mark's attention here. I just Googled his name, Delphi. I don't know what exact combination I put in there. But this, is it called a metal corporation comes up. Like he's either invested in this company or maybe he sold, portion of the bridge to this company, but somehow his name and this company called Metal X pops up. And I'm like, who's Metal X? Like, I don't know, maybe he did sell some of the rail, like maybe, Deer Creek had some type, it was a recycling metal. That's what this company specializes, like recycling metal. So you may want to know also where Metal X makes an appearance in this case. And I'm going, I haven't seen everything that was leaked or whatever, but I've been told that Kathy Ellen's brother works there. I don't know if that's true or not, so just please take that as a grain of salt because I have not validated it. So I'm just giving you hearsay at this point. But there was a subpoena issued to Metal X. So I don't know what the connection is. It could just be coincidence. Metal X also has a location in Fort Wayne. Another coincidence. Fort Wayne's a big city, so might not have anything to do with the courts or anything like that. I'm just saying it's just like a coincidence here. So it really got me thinking, right? Because like if you think about it with McCain, he's on the board as the president of Deer Creek, and he owns half the bridge. He owns half the bridge through his foundation, which is a nonprofit. And he bought a piece of property. So there's an easement, right? So you got the bridge, right? And every railroad, there's an easement, right? On each side of it. So it was owned by the rail at some point. But just, how this, I don't know what direction is, but how the trail kind of like goes around a little bit where the rail was. Like it wasn't obviously straight because that would have went right through Weber's property, right? Or Weber's property. So he bought the easement, portion of this easement as well. And Reese did a change up on the deed as well, so he doesn't have to pay taxes on this property. Like it was like resold or something. It was retaxed or district or whatever. So it just got me thinking, like, what this to me is a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? Because he's sitting on as the president of a board of a township, right along with Nick McClelland's mother and a bunch of other people. And he's got he's involved in several nonprofits. who then, you know, is getting some sort of tax abatement through Deer Creek. He also rebought, um, who is it? Gosh, the Mears property. He owns the Mears property now. So what did they do with all that rail, that metal? You know what I mean? They put a, I don't know, maybe they poured asphalt over it. I have no idea. But, you know, metal, recycled metal, I mean, is valuable actually, especially now. I bet you he probably wish he would have waited a little bit with all the 232 tariffs going on. But I just found that really interesting that there is some type of, you know, and I'm telling you, like I Googled it and I had no idea. I did, you know, I just brought it up to, you know, I was like in conversation. I'm like, what is, have you ever heard of McCain owning a piece of this metal recycling company? I came across this Metalex name while I was Googling. I don't know if he's part, you know, he had some shares in it, or maybe they're, you know, he's tied to because the you know, the rail that they ripped up, maybe the cities got some money from recycling it. I have no idea. I just saying, like, I found that really, really interesting that there was a subpoena to this Metalex. So, just going back to what I was talking about with this vehicle, it's mind blowing to me. Why? I don't know. What do you all think? I know. Hi, unindicted. I see you came in. Thank you for joining. Um, just reading chat here. I mean, again, this could be definitely a nothing burger. I just find it interesting from the metal perspective. It's good to see you. Yeah, I mean, like he had, I agree with you. He has a vision of what the area should be and entitled. I mean, this was his family's land from like the mid 1800s. It's just really suspicious to me. And this is all speculation and this is for entertainment purposes only. But this is just my perception and my opinion on things. There's just something is just really, really, really off. And I think it really needs to be looked into. And I think the investigation needs to be looked into. Because if you have Betsy Blair drawing a picture of a vehicle after she already the month before identified the vehicle and it just so happened to belong to David McCain, I think that's questionable at the very least. Like, and maybe there's an explanation for it. I mean, common sense to me, you know, I would rather, you know, hey, you know what? Those photos were good enough to present at trial to identify Richard Allen's vehicle or what they say his vehicle was. So why aren't they good enough when Betsy Blair picks out a photo of the vehicle that she believes she's seen parked at the CPS? It's like it's just very evident to me that like and this is what they were saying, the defense attorneys. It's like seemed like they had blinders on or something. And just the mere fact that 2 years later, you still don't have a basic timeline. What were you doing for 2 years? Like, to me, the timeline should be priority number 1. They had apparently everyone that was at the trails came forward and, you know, you got witnesses and or people at the trails hunting the investigators down years later. Like, hey, is it, or even months later, like months later, right after the homicides, they're going and, hey, is anyone going to call me? And then they send like, random people there. Like, it's just, what, what? It's like, at some point, it's like, what were you doing? You had all the resources that you needed, in my opinion. You had the FBI there. You had you had ISP. You had Doug Carter. Apparently, he was the money man only in this investigation. Like, he had wanted to make sure that they had all the resources, right? So, you had a unified command that had, like, in the beginning, daily meetings and weekly meetings, and it's all disorganized, and a bunch of stuff missing. I mean, at some point, and I'm just being like I'm not trying to wear a tinfoil hat. No offense, you see, because you got a tinfoil hat on your picture. But, at some point, can we not give them a break anymore and say there's something really wrong here when you got missing recordings of your interviews? And it didn't happen once, it happened twice, right? So we got that missing. And then we have a missing video over there at the good old Marathon gas station that apparently ISP was to pick up. That's what FBI says, but ISP says absolutely not, right? So that's missing. What else do we have missing here? And then the stuff that they do have, you know what I'm saying? The stuff that they do have, like perhaps a witness that seen young bridge guy that passes a vehicle that wasn't there. We got a witness saying seems to be the vehicle that I've seen. You have this, but you don't want to listen. Why? Because it's David McCain? I mean, to me, actually, like, if we want to compare Richard Allen and David McCain, it's like they have both the same thing. Like, both scenarios are true for both of them. He places himself on the bridge. Richard Allen places himself on the bridge. Pretty much places, if we want to go by his testimony that he gave, during trial, he's in the window. Okay, let's even go 12 to 5. That's their window, right? It's right dab in the center of the window. I mean, actually, the first sketch, I believe, is like David McCain. Because there was like early rumors that Daniel Pearson saw a bridge guy, and it turned out to be David McCain. David McCain's brother apparently was there on a bike and had an injury. Like, but we're just going to overlook that, right? I mean, if anything, like, if we want to look at motive, which I know you don't necessarily need all the time, it just seems like David McCain, one can argue he did have a motive. If we look at, like, what investigators usually look at. Can't, and I have no idea what's up with that whole scenario at trial where David McCain says that he can't remember if he went home right away or if he went to I guess there was a meeting going on. Like, wouldn't we have that from the Hoosier Harvest Store camera? Where's that? Because I would think if the defense had that and they asked him at trial which way you went, and he says he can't remember, Wouldn't they then say, well, let me introduce exhibit whatever? Is this not your vehicle? Because guess what? David McCain left, like what, at 4? Right? He runs into Derek German at the connector trail. So, even if you don't place him, let's just play devil's advocate here. You can't place him arriving, but you sure as hell can place him leaving 4 o'clock. And, he sees Derek German. I've heard some rumors, this is just rumors, that, was he distracting Derek German? I mean, he was just there the whole entire time. I just don't understand why it just cannot be David McCain. And maybe there's a reasonable explanation. And you know what? Maybe we would have that information if the court would just release everything, that they can, and do redact names that cannot be, provided. Don't just like, hey, I'm gonna exclude the entire page, because that's what they're doing. They're excluding entire pages. And that is that there is always a double standard for the wealthy and or powerful. They are eccentric, while regular folk are crazy. I mean, I did a property record search for the McCains, and you would be, maybe most of you may not be shocked, but he owns many, many properties in that area. He's definitely not poor. Just saying. I just don't understand it. And it would, like going back to what we were just looking at, the first page is redacted, right? So maybe if we had that first page, there's, I could see more of it and be like, oh, they looked at it. There's an explanation for this, because that picture, that photo was, David McCain's car, but that was really, at 5 o'clock or something like that. Or, you know what I mean? Or like it was at a time that, would exclude him, but we don't have that. So I wonder exactly how far Rule LE would go to protect a confidential informant. Yeah. And there was a confidential informant too. I could have sworn it was involved in the leaks too. I don't know, but there was one that, right? Wasn't there like an AutoZone confidential informant that they met at AutoZone? All right, let me see what else I wanted to show you. Okay. I have one more thing, and then maybe I wait until Mark can join us, because one of the reasons why I wanted to do the transcript again is just to kind of get his reaction the first time he reads it. You know what I mean? All right, let me do a new share. All right. Can you see my screen? I think you can. Let me check back. All right, cool. Oh, let me take Monday says photo, or what? PTOTO. I don't know what that is. Pitoto? P Okay. All right, awesome. All right. Sorry if I'm gonna make you dizzy because I was kinda, like, all over the place on this when I was looking at it. So I marked the area that I wanted to show. So this is a transcript of Liggett. Sorry, y'all. Please close your eyes, okay? So I could find it. I probably went too far. Here, let me do this. Okay. No. I was probably right there and I didn't even see it. I had like marked it in green, this area right here. Or I might have highlighted the entire thing. Okay. How about this? I'm going to take it off share so y'all aren't dizzy. Feel free to chat amongst yourself while I pull this up again. Sorry about that. I'll find it. We'll get her done. Okay. It's like, try to prepare as much as you can, and then I'm going to take a drink. You know what? I probably have this up twice. Oh, I know what it is. Hold on. No. Don't worry. At work, I talk to myself like this all day long. Oh, I need a vape. I am vaping. I don't care. All right, I found it. I found the area that I marked, but I wanted to zone in on the parking timeline. Okay. So I can't find it right now. I marked the area, but like unless I'm going to read this entire thing and then I'll hit on it. But what this says, here, I'll just share it. Maybe we'll run into it together. So in here, it's not on this page, but I'll keep on scrolling, but it's around this area. It says, what if we told, like, would it blow your timeline apart if the vehicle at 144 is not a black vehicle? And Liggett says, oh, like he was just very dismissive of it. So I found that really interesting because it looks like the defense was, trying to go in that direction. And if you recall, and during her testimony at trial, she said the vehicle was not a black vehicle. Like, specifically, it was not black. Unless I'm remembering that wrong. I'm pretty positive. So right here, they're talking about the sketches. And this just stood out to me. So this is Liggett's deposition. They asked, do you believe the second sketch is also a sketch of Richard Allen? Yes. You agree with me that sketches have a lot of differences between them, right? They're just sketches. They're not pictures. They're not photographs. It's just a sketch. Okay. They're not photographs. It's not a photograph. But the vehicle is a photograph. But we're going to go with the drawing. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to just keep on scrolling. But see, like, notice we're going to see these excluded from public access. It's like, let's take this as an example here. Redirect examination, Mr. Baldwin, right? So he's asking, he asks, did you say that the hat, what did you say about the hat on the sketch? Sketch number 1, the Sarah Carball hat, whole blank page. And then he says, I believe so. I believe they are. I don't recall ever seeing one. Again, that doesn't mean it's not there. I believe they are. I would have to double check for you to be accurate about that, but I believe they are. How many sketch artists do you believe worked on this case? The one from Carball's sketch was from the FBI. The one that did maybe any other sketch that we had was done by the state police. So I think just 2. Just 2 sketch artists total? Yeah. Question. There weren't multiple ones from the state of police that you recall? Answer. Don't think so that I recall. I believe there was just one from state and one from the FBI. Andy asked you some questions earlier about who showed up on the scene. I think there was how do you say, Giancola and Officer Yoder, correct. And obviously a lot other individuals out there, right, that were searching, correct. Was there some admonishment to all of these people by law enforcement that they should not talk about this case, not to my knowledge? And then they talk about the kind of like a gag order, not to my knowledge. There were obviously a number of witnesses that were children that were they were minors, I should say, is probably a better word, that were on or around the trail on the day in question. Would you agree with that? Correct. Kind of the same question. Were there directives from law enforcement for these people to not talk about this stuff publicly? Not to my knowledge. Back to the ongoing investigation questions. Are you aware of any other officers that were involved in the investigation that are actively interviewing witnesses or anything of that nature? It's ongoing this week, last month, and any of the last couple months, Because it sounds like you haven't been doing much on this. He asked, do I know who is doing those things? Question. Do you know if anybody's out there? Yes. What's going on? I mean, you've got a guy in jail. So what? What is going on? They're still working on things with Richard Allen. I'm sure they're tying up loose ends. I mean, and then answer. I know that they're still out there doing stuff. Yes. Are these law enforcement authorities or officers communicating with you about this? What's going on? Are you getting briefings? We had a briefing or a meeting not too long ago, but question, what else is there? Answer, just I know that I don't know what they're specifically doing. Doesn't know what they're doing. Okay, if that's your question, I don't specifically know. What else is there to learn about Richard Allen? You mentioned it. I don't specifically know what they're doing. Okay, when do you expect to get another briefing on what's going on? When we decide we need to have another briefing and get everybody up to speed. Who decides that? Again, I'll just be a unified command thing. Somebody will decide to have that meeting. Did Nick send you kind of the bullet point list of topics that I offered up to him last week in advance for this deposition today? Yes. Okay. And I'm kind of sort of looking for it right now. I know it's here somewhere, but I gave it to you. It's all right. Don't worry about it, Andy. It's fine. Okay. Can y'all remind me what role Liggett is in this investigation? Isn't he like, am I losing my mind here? But shouldn't he know what's going on with what they're doing? I'm gonna be like Mata. Am I in crazy world? Or crazy town? Is that what you said? Am I in crazy town? Oh boy. That's crazy. Detective Liggett has been in law enforcement for 21 years. In his role as a deputy and as a detective, he has investigated numerous crimes, including murders. He's also been trained how to investigate offenses such as murder. He has also participated in training specifically geared murder investigations. In many of these cases, evidence of the crime is on the individual's cell phone. The evidence includes location evidence in relation to the offense, pictures or videos taken during the on or after the offense, and evidence is furtherance of the crime or in an effort to hide the participation in crime. Detective Liggett had an opportunity to review the evidence collected in this investigation. Detective Liggett knows from his training and experience that when individuals commit offenses, evidence of those offenses in the form of pictures or location data is captured on the individual's phone. Detective Liggett also knows that individuals tend to download their photos to other electronic devices or use their cell phones in conjunction with other electronic devices, including iPads and computers. Detective Liggett believes the information gathered from witnesses, video evidence, and admissions by Richard M. Allen is reliable. Richard M. Allen places himself at the trails and specifically on the Monon High Bridge. He further admits that he's wearing jeans and a dark Carhartt jacket. These clothes match the clothes by the individual on the bridge in the photo taken from the video from Liberty German's phone. Detective Liggett was also able to corroborate the information that Richard M. Allen was at the trails near the time that Liberty German and Abigail Williams. The picture of the individual on the bridge was captured by investigators from the video taken on Liberty German's phone just prior to her and Abigail Williams being abducted. The individual in that picture matches the description of Richard M. Allen. Detective Liggett believes that Richard M. Allen is the individual on the bridge. From Richard M. Allen's statements, investigators believe that Richard M. Allen was also on his phone when he was on the trail prior to meeting the girls. I believe that a search of his residence located at 1967 North Whiteman or Whiteside Drive, Delphi, Indiana, located in Carroll County, as well as the outbuilding, the vehicles, and the property will lead myself and other investigators to evidence of murder. I have probable cause to believe that there will be evidence located on the property of this offense. I affirm under penalty of perjury as specified in IC 3544121 that the foregoing representations are true. Signed by Detective Tony Liggett, Carroll County Sheriff's Department. So he knew a lot. He was qualified to write the PCA, but he has no idea what's going on. No idea. Nothing. What is going on? Okay, going back to this. Okay, this is Purdy. Purdy. I just really wanted to read what they were talking about, the vehicles, because it was interesting how they asked. Okay. Here we go. I think it's over here. And then like Nick McClellan like objects in here too. You know what? Why don't I just search for McClellan's name? Oops. All right. All right. So this is, I found it. Okay. So I'll start off here. Question. Why didn't you include in the probable cause affidavit Richard Allen what he told you on October 13, 2022, that he had been at the trail at around noon, either before or after noon? Answer. His memory from, what was it, February 26th, was what I went off of. Okay, another question that I have about while I'm on that topic is I try to, from where Richard Allen was living at the time, it doesn't seem like it would make a whole lot of sense that he would be on 300 North heading west. Did you ever have any theories on why, if you believe that the car captured at, I think, 2:20 or 1:27 p.m. is Richard Allen's Ford Focus? Do you have any theories why he would have been traveling westbound on 300 North rather than a shorter route? Answer. I don't. Question. I mean, am I correct in saying that from where Richard Allen lived, there was a much shorter route where he would have been headed eastbound on 300 North to get to the old CPS parking? Answer. If it's shorter, it's not much shorter. Question. Okay. Answer. And if you don't have to go through town going the other way. Well, that was the answer. Question. Okay, how important is it as far as the timeline is concerned, placing Richard Allen at the trail at roughly 2 p.m. when Betsy Blair saw a person on the high bridge? How important is it that the vehicle parked at the CPS building be black, for example, in order for the timeline to be a good timeline? This is where McClellan says, I'm going to object. I think you're getting into work product. I've kind of let it slide up till now. And how important is it? But I think you're getting into work product at this point. So, and then Mr. Baldwin says, oh, you and I will have disagreements on that all day long. But, and then Mr. McClellan says, I agree, but I'm going to advise him. Just rephrase the question. Mr. Baldwin, yeah, that was a bad question that I can get behind. It's a bad question. So then Mr. Baldwin asks, so you said earlier that it was your contention that Richard Allen's black Ford Focus was parked at the old CPS at 2 o'clock, at 2:14, at 2:15, at 2:30. How important then was it that the vehicle being parked at the CPS building was a black Ford Focus in terms of establishing a timeline? Leggett says, I think it helps. Really? Well, let's do the converse. How problematic might it be for the timeline if the vehicle parked at the CPS building at 2 or 2:14 p.m. or 2:15 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. is not a black vehicle? Answer. Then he had another vehicle. We would have or did check into. But the people said our witnesses just confirmed what he said on February 16th. Our witnesses just confirmed his timeline. So that's the importance of it. Which witnesses would those be? So answer. Betsy Blair. Okay, y'all seen that vehicle that she drew? Does not look like a Ford Focus. Terry Wilson seemed like some vehicle in The Fugitive from like the 80s or 90s. Like that is not a Ford Focus. Sarah Carbaugh, right? That's Muddy. Well, that's Muddy Guy, then turned into Muddy and Bloody Guy. And I have not heard this name before. So if anyone in the chat knows who this is, and Wesley McWhorter. Was he the pest guy? I don't know. Okay, and then question. All right, I want to talk about Westville for a minute. And I know it sounds like Tobe Lesenby was the person that drafted the safekeeping order. Is that correct? Yeah, I had nothing to do with it. Did you even know that was happening, the safekeeping order? Answer. I think I did after. After that was the ball was rolling, I did. Okay. Did you have any input into the safekeeping order at all? No. And I think you told us at the last hearing when Brad was asking you questions, I think is when this happened, that you had been to Westville earlier this year or to talk to Richard Allen. Correct. Tell me about that. I was confused about that. We went to, myself, Jerry Holman, and Steve Mullen went to Westville. Okay. So this is a man that essentially had his, charging court appearance where they read him his rights and said like, hey, you have a right to counsel. And he says, yeah, I'm going to hire an attorney, right? And he writes a letter that somehow, takes forever to get to Carroll County, which is totally suspicious to me. But anyway, I mean, I don't even think you have to go that far, because it's when he turned in the letter over to the jail people is when that letter is considered filed, right? But despite all of that, okay, these men go to Westville, and Richard Allen had no counsel there. I mean, he didn't talk to them, right? But like, how is that right? It's like the extent that it's because, like, if you remember, like, I think we covered this about Holman. He said that, like, he thought Richard Allen may have changed his mind after being there, for a couple of days, because they knew that they essentially, threw him in hell, and they were just hoping to get a confession, so he can get out of there. Kind of like what they do in interrogations, right? They keep you for a long time, don't, feed you, don't, you're in there for hours, you're sleep deprived, kind of like what was going on over there. So, I mean, you don't have to be on the side of, Richard Allen being guilty or innocent to get behind that this is not the right thing to do. You don't do that to, like, somebody you just arrested, continue to try to interrogate them, especially when they said that they're, want, an attorney. Sorry, I know I'm going a little bit off of what I wanted to really cover today, but I thought that was, like, interesting, right? It seemed like the defense was really going down that, like, hey, what if this wasn't a black vehicle? Oh, well, we'll just check the other vehicles he owned. I don't know. What y'all think? You see is pretending she's talking to the dog. How's the old man? It was a sneaky, illegal move to visit him without notifying counsel. Yes. I just can't believe this. Wow. Monday says Jerry Holman is a liar. She gave us a heart. Awesome. Thanks for being here, Monday. Full of ice cream and napping. That's good. Does he have, like, a big sweet tooth? Sounds like he does. So I've been trying to do, like, a no carb thing. I'm, like, going through withdrawals right now. But I, like, if you take Cool Whip, kidding. I'm totally sober, by the way. If you take Cool Whip and you put it in the freezer and eat it, it's like no carbs in it, and it tastes just like ice cream. I mean, as close as you can get to ice cream, I guess, is a better way of saying it. Oh, Lord. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have. I'd like, hopefully we can bring Mark on and get a little bit more insight on what he thinks of the, McCain transcripts. I think it'll be kind of fun to have him. He said he wants to be, he wanted to be, I think he said he wanted to be McCain. I don't know, I could be wrong. Because I was like, oh no, am I gonna have to, like, try to, like, practice my Southern accent? I'm not shit. I have a hard time talking regular. with my Chicago accent. Yeah. Hold on one second. I'm gonna let my dog in here. Okay. All right. I'm here. We got Monday in here. We have unindicted, love on unindicted. She's like always in every one of my live streams, and I appreciate that. You see, I really do. And then we have, I don't know if the Lulu went to sleep. But if you're still in there, hi. I had brought like I was gonna do a little beauty talk. So yesterday we were going on about makeup. So I thought at the end I'd give a little tip of something that I found that's really good for your hair. But she's not in here. She likes that type of stuff. That and Korean cosmetics. Does anyone have any questions? Any final thoughts? Anything else you want me to cover? Something maybe I missed, or you know, notice anything that kind of goes to what we were talking about or what I was talking about? Do you have any? I know you go around a lot of the different creators. I try to myself. Anyone point anything out that stuck out to you that I did not cover? I did notice that Criminality did they did the reading of this transcript. I have not listened to that yet. I do plan on doing that. Later this week I might be on a panel with Cryptex. So that's going to be exciting if it all pans out. So if I'll post something on my community. Monday, have you always been Monday? I think I've seen you here before. Are you Mindy too? Just kidding. Monday is here on a Monday. Unindicted says Derek German just worries me on a number of levels. How so? Wow, I've only been live an hour and 40 minutes. It feels like 3 hours. It does. Let me put my camera back on. Come on, lurkers. There has to be more than, I know there's more than 2 of you in here. Why don't you say hi? I mean, even if you hate me, just say hi. You don't have to like me. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being liked. Be nice to say hi and thank you for visiting my channel. I do appreciate it. I welcome hate watching if that's who you are. A view is a view. Right? I'll take them. I'll take them as I could get them. Oh, okay. UC says criminal past. Yeah. I think they do. Don't they talk about that? I think they do talk about that in several of these depositions or the transcripts from the depositions. I forgot to fix the thing with Mustang from yesterday. Shit. I just remembered that. Sorry, Mustang. If you're on the replay, I'll do that right after I get up. If you want to come back. Again, like I get it. If you don't want to, it's fine. Monday. Come Monday, I'll be all right. What song is that from? Watch, I probably, please don't tell me this is a Grateful Dead song, because I will like be mad at myself. Any Deadhead fans in here? Oh, Jimmy Buffett. Thank you. That's right. Oh, you're back. Were you sleeping? Okay, so I don't know how your water is by you. I live, like the majority of the Chicagoland area has Lake Michigan water, which is pretty soft in my opinion. And then when I moved to Indianapolis, like it's landlocked pretty much, right? Like there's no big body of water. There's some like reservoirs and stuff like that. But the water is really hard. And then I moved back to Illinois because I loved high taxes. And I'm like right, like the next town over has Lake Michigan water. So anyway, where I'm going with this is there's this clarifying shampoo with like a foaming rinse. Paul Mitchell. It's really good. So what you do is you put it in your hair and you leave it in there for a while. So like there's several types of this. So there's like a level 1 and a level 2. So if you wash your hair with a regular clarifying shampoo, and then you put this in, it's like it's kind of like you let it sit for about 5-10 minutes and you rinse it off, and your hair is like really, really soft. And it's good to get all of, like, even if you're like a swimmer in the summer, could use this. And it will take the chlorine off, and it's all natural. So it says foaming ACV rinse removes buildup and restores shine. So that was my little beauty trick today, or tip. Hi, Veronica. Oh, I'm so envious of you. You worked out. What did you do? Did you do cardio or weights? No, thank you for saying hi. That's so nice of you. I would love to have you back on my panel soon, if you care to join me. I know we had a really good conversation in the past, so would love to catch up with you. Pilates. Oh, yeah, Pilates. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so my email is on my YouTube. It's all right. So it was like I wasn't planning on using this email, I don't think. So it's getalifedick@gmail. No. getalifedick@icloud.com. Because I figured, like, okay, if somebody like figures out who I was, they need to get a life. But then I ended up, posting it on my channel. So, oh my gosh. So yeah, that and it's funny because that's Rick Snay emailed me, and he's like, "Is this a real email address?" I'm like, at the time, like I thought like everyone that weren't in my little group was Satan. So, I didn't really answer him for the first couple times. But yeah, I responded, yes, this is an actual email address. Yeah, yeah, they are animal friendly. Um the Lulu. It's like I think it was like 20. You could get it on Amazon or Ulta if you have an Ulta by you. And it smells really good. I like it. There were some reviews that like people didn't like the smell of it, but I thought it and it just like really makes your scalp like it's just so like refreshing. I can't explain the feeling of like I should get paid for this. Seriously. No, I'm just kidding. But it does have like a spa type of feeling to it. So oh yeah, I missed something that UC said. So she says 2 of the 4 sources of surface water for Indianapolis is the White River. Oh, that's good to know. I think I got mine from Eagle Creek when I used to live there. Eagle Creek. Like that's kind of like by the Carmel area, Carmel, um, Zionsville. Um, yeah, and water's expensive out there too. Seriously, I'm not even joking about it. As per Cecil said that 2 of the 4 sources of surface water for Indianapolis is the White River. Yeah, I love the Zionsville area too. It's really nice. Yeah. I used to live in Zionsville for a short period of time when I first moved out there. It's got like that old vibe to it. Like there's an area where what is it called? When Abraham Lincoln was brought, the procession, I don't know if that's the right word for it. The train went through there. And also he did give a speech there too, like obviously before he was assassinated. uh yeah. Yeah, Zionsville's nice. So is Carmel. Carmel's a little bit bigger though. Much big. Yeah, I mean it's much bigger. My kids went to school in Carmel. Like what is that? What is that one road? 116, I think it is, or 111. Oh my gosh, the houses there are humongous. I think isn't that where Jared from Subway lived? I think so. Yeah, it's like a nice scalp feeling. Definitely. Ulta and Sephora. I've never been in a Sephora. I know, isn't that crazy? Well, you know what? Actually, don't they have some of those in Kohl's now? I may have been in Sephora in a Kohl's before, but not like ever. I've never been to the actual store. I'll be in that area next week. Pray for me. I hope Ellie doesn't get me. I hope not to. I think you'll be okay. But I get it. Like I'm like scared to go to Allen County, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to bring somebody with me. That's for sure. But yeah, I say that, but like these people are probably like, who the fuck is that? Who the heck is that? Like they're not probably worried about me. Oh, the paranoia, and it's like I get it sometimes. I need to purchase a part-time house. I'm looking in that area. I hate real estate right now. Yeah, I was looking at my old house and I was just like, holy crap. But still, like you can't beat the property taxes out there. Noblesville is kind of cool. I'd like that. Nova, and then what is it? Westfield, Whitestown is pretty cool too. Like they really built up that, and I think that's like exit 130. So there's a Crackle Barrel, and then they have like this huge shopping center over there. Yeah. Oh, is that too far? Are you trying to be like right off of 65? Just, you know what? Like, honestly, my advice is stay away from Fishers. I know that's a little bit what is that? A little bit probably if Noblesville is too far, I'm sure Fishers would be, but that traffic there just sucks. It really does. Lebanon is being built up. Yeah. It's the last time I went to go visit my old neighbors last year. Oh my god, I'm gonna sneeze 1 second. Sorry. I went to visit my old neighbors last year, and when I drove down 65, and I knew like when I left it, there was already tons and tons of buildings, like warehouses. It was really built up when I left, but then when I came back, I was like, holy cow. Yeah, I mean they do have some rough, but I really think that they did invest like some investments in that area. I mean, if it's just a part-time job, I think it will be okay. But I haven't been there for a year, but I know that like the redevelopment commission was really investing in that area. And I think you could probably still get a reasonable house there. I think that though if you have like little ones in school, I wouldn't necessarily recommend Lebanon for, the school. Like the ratings are not so good. I mean, Zionsville has really good school ratings. No, yeah. No, I mean that you're accurate with that as far as from a crime perspective. And it just sucks because like, realtors can't tell you anymore like what is a good area or not. And I can see why, from like you don't want to be discriminatory, because like, there are some people that will, open the door for like racist questions and stuff like that. But from a crime perspective, I think they did have, but like honestly, like when I first moved out there in like 10 years ago, there was a lot of meth. I think it's gotten a little bit better, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Yeah, Whitestown is really cool. I think you'd probably like Whitestown. But you have to be careful too, because so like if you have kids, um, part of Whitestown goes to Lebanon schools. So if like, if you want the better schools, you would like from a rating perspective, I'm sure like there's good teachers in both schools. I'm just saying like if you look at the test scores and the rating, Zionsville has better. Yeah, HOAs suck. I'm so happy I don't have an HOA anymore. No. I'm back in the Chicago area. Yeah. I do miss Indy from some aspects of it. I miss my neighbors. Like I had really, really cool neighbors. Just like it was like I don't know, just it was a nice area, and just everyone was so friendly. So you'd be, walking your dog, hey, why don't you come, come have a beer, or it's just like a lot of people walking around and socializing. I do miss that piece of it because like where I live now, there's nothing but like snowbirds. So like most of the people that live here are older, which is fine. Like it's quiet. I like that. I'd rather deal with that than like, a bunch of loud people. But yeah, I do miss like there's like a more friendly culture, I think. in Indiana. Hoosiers. Yeah, maybe like we'll talk offline, email me, and I could give you some tips. I'm sure there's a lot of other people, that could, Brownsburg's nice too. But yeah, like if you're looking more into like Zionsville, Whitestown, I could, like, if you want to say, hey, how about this subdivision or whatever, I can give you my thoughts on it. Not a problem. All right. So did I like scare off everyone else? Just kidding. Probably should shut it down. So I am going to do that. I really, really appreciate everyone stopping in. I hope, you got something from this. It was just nice to talk about, some of the new developments in the case. So I hope I don't think I'm going to do a live again until maybe this weekend. So I may, who knows? Just gotta, I don't know what mood I'll be in, But at any rate, have a wonderful week and I'll catch you next time. Bye. I want to stop.